welcome to this week's episode of Beyond the Numbers with Christian Stevens. My guest is someone I've known for a very long time, one of my favourite people in the entire industry, a close friend, a mentor as well, Christie David. Welcome.
Thanks, mate. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
That was a good shout out. But as I said, I've known you for a long time. Yeah. I've kind of watched your journey from becoming a broker, growing a brokerage. I've seen you on stage. I've seen your books be released. It's been a pretty crazy journey. But for people who don't know who you are, can you run through, I guess, the journey, how you started, what you whad been doing before broking as well?
So my most recent, before becoming a broker, I worked at Commonwealth Bank. So if you look at, say, Broker or some of the communications that come out from CBA, that was my gig. So working marketing distribution across mortgage brokers, but also mobile lenders at CBA. And that's where I saw the penny drop moment, which is brokers was so hungry. Bankers took for granted all the leads that came their way. And back in the day, there's a lot of we had segmentations. We had diamond brokers, top tier brokers, your gold, silver, bronze type scenario. And so we did a lot of work with diamond brokers. So I got in my head that this is just how brokers are, not realizing that they're the top echelon.
Just quickly, industry. For people who don't know what diamond and pink diamond were, can you explain how that those broker statuses were met and how they differ to what they've got now? The
best way to explain it is pretty much like frequent flyer for Qantas. You fly a lot, you get perks. You do a lot of business at CBA, you get perks. So you and I probably at this point in our journey, we're probably top tier brokers with CBA. That means we get direct access to credit managers. We get access to senior management, for example. Something goes off the rails, they do pick up our calls and they take it very seriously. And we had to earn that privilege. It's not a right. It's very much a privilege that can come and go. But then the bank, like you and I would have our top tier clients and we'll do anything for them. The bank would have us in that same type of echelon going, these brokers are submitting good quality deals. They use us very regularly. They're advocates for our business, for example. We're going to reward and recognize them as well. So I think they'll call it platinum these days or elite. And so different name, but a very similar.
Prefer diamond.
I'd much prefer a pink diamond. And
sorry for derailing your story before.
No, that's the whole point of this chat. And I think for me, the penny drop moment when someone goes, how did you go from, say, corporate to then being out on your own? That was when Bernie and I were on our honeymoon. And some people have that when they become a parent. Some people have that maybe midlife, or they're like, what am I doing? I think that moment came for us when we were newlyweds, just going, what are we actually doing here? And our dream was to go to New York, try and make it over there, maybe study and do some postgrad over there and then come back to Australia. And we just thought, this doesn't seem to stack up because all we're going to do is get an MBA, do more work, fly around the country, spend less time at home. That didn't equal freedom for us. And we thought, right. Bernie said, well, brokers, because previous to that, I worked at Wizard Home Loans in marketing as well. Okay. And that was very my style, a very competitor, you call it a disruptor back in the day. I liked being the challenger brand as opposed to CBA, which is top dog. I love that challenger mindset. And so Bernie's like, why don't you become a broker? I'm like, here I am with 2 degrees. I'm going to become a broker,
It wasn't that glamorous back in the day.
No, it was below. Like you told anyone you were a mortgage broker 10 years ago.
Yeah, they'd be like, you couldn't make any banking?
Correct. What a dirty word for a salesperson. Yeah. Whereas I think we've come a long way to becoming professional, for example. I look at where the industry is today. I'm so proud.
Completely different. Yeah.
Very proud. And to reach the heights that you and I have in this industry, 23,000 brokers, for example, there's a journey that goes into that, which is your point earlier about, 10 years in this gig. A decade, and time flies. And I still think it's funny, mate. We're here where we are shooting this. My first office was about 5 minutes away. And so it's very poetic coming here today.
Smaller than this.
Oh, mate, it was very small. I couldn't afford it. Like I shared it with this guy. He had a beautiful office. I saw your suits, MJ Bale. Like right next to us was MJ Bale head office, for example. And I couldn't afford it. But I knew at that time I just had to think a little bit bigger. And I've always pushed myself to go, bit of hunger in the belly, and backs against the wall. How do I survive? And I'd like to be around that type of dynamic, which was make this work. There's no other alternative. I was never going to go back to corporate at that point.
Having a catalyst for not being able to fail, that was pretty powerful.
Absolutely. There's no plan B.
Yeah.
But, you know, what they say, burn the boats, that type of mentality. I love that. You know, I just want to see brokers that play probably a smaller game where they, you know, work from home, or they try to cut costs, they won't hire. That was never my mindset. I was always like, hire, get an office, dress up every day. I probably looked more, you know, I looked like I earned more than what I actually did.
One of the best dress brokers in the industry. But yeah, like I think that mindset alone, like you've always been someone that I've come to for questions to the motivation and mindset. I think as you start growing a bigger business and you've been around for a while, that becomes so important. And people talk about mindset and they talk about, the ability to keep going. What's some tips for new to industry brokers around mindset? Because you and I have very similar growth story, and for sure mindset's played an enormous part in my own growth as well. But for anyone starting in the industry, what are some hot tips from a mindset coach or someone that could give them a bit more feedback of how to grow without going crazy?
Cool. I love it. I'm a mindset guy. In fact, our team last year, we read a book called Mindset by Carol Dweck, I think her name is. The whole notion of a growth or abundance mindset means you're always trying to find be the best version of yourself. Really, really big on that. I think sometimes you have to have maybe a slightly inflated sense of self in a good way. That's not I've got a mad ego. It's just going, I'm bringing a lot of value. Yeah. Yeah. I'm capable.
I call it earned confidence.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Here we go. You call it whatever you want. But if you can't believe that, how are you going to get someone else to believe it? And I think that's where the battle's probably won and lost for a newbies. At the start, you don't have a lot of business coming in. Every deal matters. Every call with an assessor is critical, for example. A net of offset will derail you.
Everything's urgent.
Mate, correct. You don't know what you're doing, which I think is a separate part of our conversation. But if you're starting out, there has to be some level of self-belief. And if you don't have that self-confidence, then find someone. Go and work for someone that goes, I can see the best in you. I can mold, shape you. And that's probably where I look at my team. Where they lack sometimes in the confidence, like, mate, I got your back. You might mess it up. I've got your back. We'll figure it out. And it's almost this ability to fail spectacularly sometimes, even myself. But it's like the amount of learnings that have come off the back of that has moved me forward as well. If you don't have that, then get it in a sanctum. So you and I are probably a part of a WhatsApp group back in the day, mate. We'd be shooting the breeze, other top brokers in that WhatsApp group. And then you guys be shooting, this is a scenario I've got. It's like, it was bigger than what I'd ever had, for example. But that probably pulled me up a little bit. And I was like, these guys are doing some amazing things. And I just like ride the coattails of what was going on in the group chat, who's on what, who can introduce me here, for example. And you start to play a bigger game. And I think if I go back to a sporting analogy, I grew up playing cricket. And there was a really distinct point in our cricketing careers where we could have really gone up a grade and challenged ourselves. And some of the guys in the group were like, no, we'll just stay where we are.
Yep.
And I knew at that point we'd resigned ourselves to park cricketers.
Yep.
If you step up, you got to get better gear. You train twice a week, for example. You hang out with elite cricketers. It changes the way you approach the game. Whereas if you come in as a park cricketer, that's all you're going to get. And it'll never get better than that. And I knew at that point, something in me even said, oh, that's all we're going to be. And I knew I wanted more in life. I know I'm still capable of more. You talk about 10 years in business. I still think like a startup. I still think and feel a startup. And I've probably got a second wind now, nearly 10 years in, just going, even my team going, man, you're on fire. I'm like, yeah, I'm so dialed in at the moment because I feel like this is version 2.0 that's coming out.
Where's that fire come from for, I guess, the 2.0?
2.0? I would say largely it came back to the stuff that we did with FBAA. I can't tell you. I was probably in a bit of in a different place in my journey. I thought, oh man, I might scratch the itch around like mortgage broking, coaching, or mentoring. We scaled the business back a little bit. For example, I had a bit of a lifestyle where I could drop the kids off, pick them up a couple of times a week, train more. I was bored. I was actually bored. And I think going around the country and seeing the varying degrees of brokers, I came back to our team like, we have got something special here. Yeah. We've got a real gift. And I think I got a lot of that even selfishly of us giving out to the community. I got a lot back in the sense that I was like, man, we're on a good thing here. We're actually capable of solving some mad problems. We're an incredible team. What are we doing dimming our lights and just playing an easy game? Back on. And that started a whole series of events from February, March throughout 2025. And we have gone to a whole new level off the back of that. And I credit a lot of that, to our chats, to our interactions with other brokers, just going, why am I sitting still? We've got so much potential. And then I look at the country that we live in and traveling around the country, like, dude, what an amazing country we live in, where I can come in, start a business, and in 10 years' time, put myself in the top 1% in this industry, the top 1% of income earners, the top 1% of health, the top 1% are here. Why wouldn't I keep going and see what's on the other side? And I think that probably lit something in me to go, keep going and don't stop.
For anyone listening, in Feb, I think, March, we did the FBAA national tour at Adelaide, Melbourne, Brisbane, Perth, and Sydney. We talked about 1,000 brokers across the country. When Joanna from FBAA reached out asking if I wanted to do that end of last year, I said, look, I'll do it, only if I can choose the other two guys to do it with, because for me, the people you surround yourself with is very important. And if I'm going to be on tour with other people, I want them to be people that motivate me. But what you just said then, those walks we went on each morning, peer-to-peer mentorship is something that I think is super important. It's where I've grown the most. I think the same for you. You said earlier around a WhatsApp group for new to industry brokers, there's definitely a power in connecting with others that are at the same point that you are, and also others that are better than you, obviously, and just asking them questions, getting in front of them. For your brokers in your business, I guess, what does mentorship look like? Because I think when I think of mentorship, it's not, hey, I've got a credit scenario, can you help me with it? Like, that's kind of level one. Like, what does mentorship look like for you? Or what does mentorship look like for the modern broker?
Yeah, I think it's to get to black belt, what I call black belt or elite level. If that's where you're trying to get to, say top 100.
That's very you. I like that.
I do. I think it's a real mindset.
Yeah.
And so what does mentorship look like? It's going, if you're actually serious about this is where you want to get to, then this is everything you need to start doing, reverse engineer that and lay that out for you. So I'll show that to my team. If this is where you want to get to, I will show you all the steps because I've been in your shoes.
Yeah.
Strap yourself in. I promise it's not going to be easy, but it will be worth it. And so mentorship, when you go to really look at what your question is, it's shared experience. It's a little bit of empathy, but it's someone to hold you to a high level of accountability. If you said this is actually what you want to do, then why won't you achieve it?
Yep.
And I think that's probably where we see a lot of, this is not me getting on any type of soapbox or rant, but that's probably where I see mentorship in this industry failing a lot of brokers. You don't want to make the calls. Okay, that's cool. Come back. I know it because I coach brokers and I'd come back week after week. Hey mate, have you made those 15 phone calls?
No.
No, I got busy. And all that would do is drag me down as a mentor. I can't imagine what that is as a mentee. I said, mate, well, it's going to shut down the conversation now. Go make the calls and come back. They're like, oh, but. So there's no buts. If you want to be elite level, then this is what you need to do. And it's sometimes a little bit of tough love. I've got small kids.
Yep.
Sometimes there is tough love. And they may not thank me now, but at some point when we have very clear boundaries, when we're trying to set some rules, that's what's involved. And even with my team, we start at 9:30. I'm starting at 9:30. If you're in the room, you're in. If you're not, I don't wait.
Yeah.
Yeah. That might be a little bit intense for some people. I will absolutely recognize that. But do you want the results or not?
Yeah, and I've heard you. I've heard you say some interesting things with the Q&A at the end of those. The Q&A at the end of the presentation.
Well, I don't hold back.
Because you say what people don't want to hear, right? They think there's a silver bullet, a faster road to success, some secret sauce that they're unaware of. Yeah. But in reality, you've just
CRM is my secret sauce.
You've just got to do the work. And I remember when I was a broker starting out, you do 50 connects a day. You try and get 5 client portals out a day, 20 a week. It's 100 a month at a 20% conversion, a $500,000 loan amount. That's 5 million lodgements.
But we know our numbers.
That is ingrained in my head religiously.
Yeah.
And it's something I'll never forget. And if you actually go and do the work, which 99% of people won't. So if you actually go and do that work, you can't not succeed.
I agree.
Especially if you're in an environment where you've got a good mentor supporting you and giving you that extra motivation. Like, it's impossible
I agree.
not to succeed. And I think mentorship in this industry is completely broken. And I've said that a number of times. The amount of brokers that reach out to me, I get at least one a day, looking for guidance and questions. And my first thought is like, where's your mentor?
I agree.
But again, I think of mentorship differently. I think of mentorship as how do you grow a sustainable, profitable broking business? How do you do marketing, branding, positioning, PR? How do you attract, clients and partners and get attention, as opposed to, how do you lodge a deal?
Mate, correct.
That's not where
I
I
think
see
it's
the
where
value.
a lot of people mentorship. They think it's like how to structure and submit a deal. Now,
Yep.
that's absolutely crucial.
Definitely
It's
know
important.
how to do that, but yeah.
It's absolutely crucial and important. Mate, when I started, my first entry, and some people may know this, my first entry out of CBA, I had a mortgage choice franchise. And the training even there was, I've got to be open, was underwhelming.
Yep.
I literally came out of a 5-day course, whatever it was, and I said to Bernadette, it's like getting a Baker's Delight franchise and not knowing how to bake bread.
Yeah.
That's where just a few BDMs came in. Hey, mate, here's our cash out policy. Here's our LVR. Here's our genuine savings. And all of us are looking around going, I have no idea what you're talking about, but I'll make some notes anyway. And you come out, let out into the wild. And I was very lucky. I had a very good mentor at that time where he had such an open door policy. And he was looking at me going, where are you getting these deals from? I was like, I don't know, mate. I'm just talking to anyone and everyone. And I think I saw the look on his face. I was like, maybe I'm getting some runs on the board here. It's like, even he was surprised that I was getting good early traction and momentum. I think that's very crucial for newbies.
Yep.
Is getting early traction and momentum. Even just taking no for an answer and not accepting that sometimes. It's like, no, I've got hunger in the belly. Give me a shot.
Yep.
And I think the worst source to tap is friends and family. Do not.
I actually have a policy. Unless I'm like relentlessly asked by someone, I don't do business with close friends.
Correct. Keep the friendship. I don't want the paycheck.
I don't want to talk about your application when I see you.
Mate, correct.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the people think, I'm going to, and then just be an advocate for me.
Yep.
Do that for me, but don't give me a loan until I've really mastered this, for example, as well.
For a new to industry broker, like when we started, there was probably half the amount of brokers. You were just a bit of a generalist. You did any kind of deal. No one was doing any kind of content online, but now, you got 22,000 brokers, 12,000 brokerages. I think it's a power in niching. So when you're a new to industry broker, the conversations that I always have is, understand a niche or pick a niche and then own that and be a thought leader within that segment of the market rather, a specialist over a generalist. What are your thoughts on, I guess, people that are thinking of becoming brokers? How do you get that early traction you were just talking about? Like, how do you position yourself well, and what would you do if you had your time again to do that?
Yeah, that's the most important question. Like, what would I do? Go back in time and do?
Yeah,
I'd niche, and I'd niche again. And the niche that I probably would have served 10 years ago is not the niche I'd be serving today.
What would you? So for anyone, like I know obviously what you do, but what's your current niche, and what would you do if you had to choose it again?
My current niche is I work with top 1% property investors. Yep. I have an ability to take you and scale you to get into the top 1%. So 6+ investment properties to build a portfolio that will create intergenerational wealth and change you and your family's bloodline. Through financially. Now it's a fairly compelling niche that has taken 10 years.
But I can hear the confidence in your voice, right? Like I've known you for a long time. And even after then I was like, scale me. But that's earned confidence, right? That is someone who's done thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of deals. You've done billions of dollars worth of settlements, but understanding how to add value to a professional investor who are educated and complex is someone that's knows what they're doing. If you had your time again, where would you follow? Or where would you get that attention?
I'd probably go self-employed.
Okay.
If I could really go back to the start. I mean, let's make it simple. Someone back at the start, specialize in refinances.
Yeah.
Mate, get it in there. Get it on the conveyor belt, for example. As crude as that sounds, it's a fairly easy deal. Mate, I can save you money. No cost to you. I can save you money. It's a bottom feeder game. Unfortunately, you're playing a rate game at the start. But if you can talk to that market, for example, it's easy. Yeah. You can get a quick couple of wins there. I can refinance you. All right, I flick a deal. And you can refinance the loan. Yeah. That's fairly easy to do. You got challenges there. You got the retention pricing. So there's going to be challenges that you're going to be encountered in. Yeah. I don't want to move banks. Mate, my banks called me, they offered me this rate, for example, right? And then we
didn't have that problem as much back in the day.
No.
By the way. Like retention
they didn't exist.
Very minimal.
Correct.
Yeah.
And you're going to get used to then that objection overcoming.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, hey, mate, but this is a better rate for you. Or I can put you in here, for example, and roll some debts. get consolidation. Again, if you're just trying to get deals in the system, it's an easy game to play.
Yep.
Yeah. Then you can start to move in. I think first home buyers are very slow burn, which is why I didn't say go straight to first home buyers. A lot of hand
holding as well.
They're going to ask you questions you don't even know the answer to sometimes. Yeah. If you haven't done it, it makes it very hard.
Yeah.
They're going to ask you, who's a solicitor or conveyancer? Well, that's going to force you to get out and meet some referral partners as well. Yeah. Real estate agents, knowing the market that you're serving. So if you serve a particular geographical niche, awesome. If you serve a certain vertical, like refinancing, first home buyers, construction, asset, pick a vertical then. And it sounds hard because the whole industry is talking about diversification.
Yeah.
We're sitting here talking about niching, and it goes against the grain. But I think if you niche and niched again, here's what happens. When you serve first home buyers that are white collar professionals under 35, you're going to know they've probably got HECS debts. You're going to know they're going to outgrow that property, for example. You're going to know that maybe it's a guarantor loan. And so you can talk to their pain points or their questions that you go, I can speak your language. Like, this is the broker for us. And if you then start to put a video, like an iPhone in front of you and start to film some content, you're going to get instant feedback on what message is landing and what message isn't as well. And that's the beauty. We didn't have digital. That's the beauty of today.
Remember I started doing posts on LinkedIn.
You're probably one of the earlier LinkedIn.
Yeah, I remember someone told me, I won't say who it was, but they said, mate, you're wasting your time. You're not going to get any leads off social media.
Yeah.
Go and meet more agents. And man, I reckon it's in the billions of dollars of inquiry over the last 10 years from social media.
Well, think about your Facebook group. Yeah. Think about your Facebook group that you created. That was probably
9 years ago. It was actually when the 2 months after I started broking, I created that Facebook group. Not for any, I wasn't that forward thinking. It just thought, I'm getting so many the same questions from first home buyers. Why not create a community where people can ask questions, we get answers, and often also see the questions that have been asked already. Actually, the other day, I think last week, it's hit 18,000 people. Well, I've never really done that much with it. It's just kind of grown organically. But, I actually have all of those names and numbers in a database.
That's wild.
First name, last name, email, phone number, what state you're in, do you have any property already? It's powerful, right?
Can you imagine at the start of your broking journey to have a database of 18,000 that you're not mining or you're not managing, you're not leveraging.
I know.
Anyone at the start of your journey go, that's crazy. And I guess that's the power of compounding. And marketing, when you think about it, it can be an accident. You can become an accidental marketer and do very well. There's no other element about business. Finance, you can't just accidentally work your way through finance. Deal structure, you can't accidentally. Ops, you can't accidentally kind of structure that. Team management, culture, building, you can't accidentally do that. It's very intentional. But marketing, you can accidentally create a video that goes viral, or you can create a post that gets traction.
You just said that's one of the easiest things. If you asked anyone, they would say it's the hardest.
It is.
And I think it's without a doubt the easiest. I could spend I get an Uber home from work most evenings, and I will do a week or two worth of content in that 15 to 20 minutes trip home.
Yeah.
It's not difficult because you and I have been doing it for so long, it just becomes second nature. Even on the social media front, the amount of people that say, hey, I've got no time to do social media. It's not an awkward additional thing outside of your work. It should be integrated religiously into what you're doing, time blocking into each day.
But here's the thing, Christian, if you're so busy, and I know this because this even happens to us and me, if we're so busy putting out fires and being reactive all day, the last thing that you've got is the bandwidth to be proactive.
Do you think that comes down to the team, having better team and process and whatnot as well?
100%.
If you're talking about an individual broker who's doing everything, then of course it's going to be a nightmare every day, really. But if you've got a good process and a good team around you, the whole purpose of having that team is to give you more time on the front end to generate business.
Yeah.
So if that's not the case, then probably need to get Aaron in to do a bit of mentoring with you.
Mate, I'd roll my sleeves up, and the first thing I'd probably do is looking at your diary. Where's your day going? The amount of times I probably see brokers that are unstructured with their day. It's probably another thing that I've really drilled into our team is show me the structure in your day. What's the top 3 things that you're coming into the office today to get done that are non-negotiables, that by the time you leave, those 3 things are minimally done. And I think I was very lucky coming out of somewhere like a CBA, which is very structured in terms of the culture, the performance, for example. It comes out of working for a major bank and organization like that, where you're held under a very strong spotlight. Is this person a high performer or not?
Yeah.
And there was periods of time at the bank where I wasn't, and I felt that pressure. And that's probably where I knew it was, my time to go, when I was probably losing the love of what I was doing. Whereas now with the team, I'm so dialed into, I'm like, show me your day.
Yep.
Show me your inbox, because we have a shared inbox. It's probably another thing that, talk about high levels of accountability. The team can see if I'm ever being followed up, which is rare. Yep. But I can also see if they're being followed up. And like, why are they following?
If you ever followed up, like you've failed.
Correct.
In my opinion. Yeah.
Correct. And that's I drill that into the team. The second that a client is following you up, you've lost trust or they've lost faith in you.
Yep.
And you probably won't get a referral of that person. Yep. And it's a very hard thing to hear. But I'm like, watch, trust me, this is going to happen.
I say to the juniors all the time, even if you haven't heard back, shoot them an email saying, hey, Aaron, just letting you know, we haven't heard back from the bank yet, but I'm still across your deal. I'm here if you need anything.
Forget the email.
Yeah.
Make a call. And I think that's the art of today in 2025, 2026, for example, where you and I had to jump on phone calls all the time. Our phones were blowing up nonstop.
I'll make a call. I'll leave a voicemail. I'll send a text, an SMS, and I'll email.
Correct.
They'll get something.
Mate, correct.
Because some people love email, some people love SMS, and some people love to have a chat. So I find that depending on the client, it's a little bit different, but definitely.
Like, when you think about Christian, has anyone ever said, I hear from my mortgage broker too much?
No.
It's the exact opposite every single, and that's what I say even today with our team. We are surprised about how much business we get, not because of marketing necessarily, but because they go, I just don't hear from my broker enough.
My first home buyer group, one of the things that I see there often is people commenting, hey, I haven't been able to get a hold of my broker. Can you answer this question?
Correct.
That is mind-blowing to me.
Yeah, correct.
What do you mean you can't get a hold of
it? It gets his vein going for me, mate.
You've lodged the application and you can't get onto the person that's lodged it. That's just the craziest thing to me. You've gone and done all the work. The client needs to answer the questions and you're unavailable.
I agree.
I don't understand how
we're not that busy.
Yeah.
You're not that busy.
But also busyness is a state of priority, right? Like if you've got a client who you've lodged an application for, surely that is top of your priority list to make sure that they have a good experience.
I agree. Which is probably, and I think that's probably where you and I have then had some level of success, is consistently.
But if it's in my box for more than an hour, it's hard and cardiac arrest. Like someone reply, even saying, hey, I'm in meetings, I've got your email, I'll come back to you in 2 hours.
Even just telling a client, and I say this in all our calls, hey, mate, you'll hear from us within 24 to 48 hours on an email.
Yep.
And I think even just telling them that turns off their monkey brain to go, okay, great. These guys tend to own it. For example, if you can't get through to me, you get through to my assistant, for example, or we have a shared inbox. So if I'm in a meeting like this, for example, the team will always see that email as well. And they don't understand that shared inbox and to explain it. So we can't expect them to understand. So if you're not setting those guidelines or you're not having that open conversation up front, they're just be sitting there going, this is the type of person I need to be following up. And I said to the team,
when you say shared inbox, like everyone in the business?
My pod. So my team, let's say, for example, I've got Nate, Kelsey, Lauren, Shay, Valley, all of us, all those emails redirect into one central inbox. And we can see, and it's not for me to be micromanaging, it's the exact opposite. But that doesn't mean I have to forward emails to team members. So no one has to be CC'd. It just comes into one inbox and we work out of that one inbox. Then we have a tagging system where that's an email for Aaron. Like say, for example, Christian, you drop me an email specifically for me. Okay, great. It'll get tagged to me. But I'm like, I don't want to do that. I'll flick that off to I'll tag that to my EA. So I don't need to forward it. But the beauty of this is they can search by a client's name, John Smith, and we can see all the comms that we've had with John Smith over the years. Okay, great. John Smith is the lead on this client with this couple. The wife doesn't say much, for example, or the wife's the priority lead, and we know how to communicate to her as well. They can see the history of all our communication to that particular client. But the most important part is no one slips through the cracks. Because if you email me and I don't get back to you, they'll be like, hey, I haven't heard from you. And our clients
happened.
Our clients have got so conditioned to hearing from us within 24 to 40 hours that if it goes longer than that, they're concerned.
Do you have any how many referrals I get from just doing that?
Make correct.
Just the speed is everything in broking, and also just communication.
It's got
And
nothing to do with actual technical ability sometimes.
I've actually said on multiple times that there are definitely brokers out there that are technically far superior than me.
Yeah,
my ability to generate business and get back to people and communicate is better than most. But that's actually, in my opinion, the most basic part. But brokers tend to get the business and then drop the ball because they think they've already got it. Whereas you should be over servicing that relationship, because if you get one referral from each of your clients, you double your business. I know it sounds pretty basic, but it's not rocket science.
It's not. I think so many brokers put the value or pride into how much they think they should know or how much they know about policy.
And I regularly say, look, I'm not across that, but I'll come back to you in 20 minutes with the answer.
You can find the answer.
It's better than pretending you know what's going on and saying the wrong thing.
Yeah. I think that's the mindset shift of going, great, if you're a technical broker and you don't do marketing well, then pride yourself on your bank policy. And that's your point of difference.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You'll beat me every single day of the week with your intimate product knowledge.
Tell you who's good at product knowledge?
Tell me.
Pongrass.
Oh, yes.
So like there's brokers that I would.
He's a unicorn though, I reckon.
Anthony Roddy as well from Shore Financial was one of the most gifted brokers I've ever met in terms of policy.
Yeah.
But it's interesting, right? Because I wouldn't say either of them are good with marketing, but they know what they're good at, right? So the clients that they're attracting and they're dealing with appreciate that.
They're not the salesy broker.
No.
Like, they're not the lead generators, mate. The business just finds them. You'd try to look them online. You'd find very little.
But also, they're dealing with those super high net worth clients or complex clients. They're going to refer all of their friends and other contacts who have very similar situations. Before you know it, you've got a really good referral network from clients, which is, happy client is the easiest marketing you can get.
Spot on.
I know a lot of brokers have a business where their partner is involved. Because this job is stressful, right?
Yeah.
So when I come home to my beautiful wife, Nicolina, I'm not. There's a disconnect there between work and personal life where I'm not bringing a lot of that stress home, except for whatever stress I'm carrying. Like, she's not involved in the business, therefore she's not going to understand what I'm doing a lot of the time. And I think like for me that's a positive thing. For you and Bernie obviously married, two beautiful daughters, but you're also running a successful business. How do you manage to do, which I'm sure it's not perfect, right? But from the outside, it looks like it's as good as it can be. How do you manage that work-life balance when you're in a business with your partner? Because when do you shut off? Because you're both at home with the kids, but you're both also at work together. It's just an interesting dynamic.
Yeah, I think dynamic. Man, I'm only here because of Bernie. I'll tell that anyone that will listen to me, I will say, anyone asks me what's been your secret in broking? It's having an amazing partner that has my back. You got to understand, mate. I met Bernie 16 years ago, height of the GFC. I lost my job at Wizard Home Loans, so I met her with no job. I just said I was on a career break, and I made some rubbish up. So she knew me at that point when I pretty much had nothing, and then saw me kind of rebuild myself, get back into corporate, for example. Then we got married, started this business 6 months after we got married. So that newlywed period is very different for us. And then I had mortgage choice. After 12 months, I've spoken openly about this. We said I'm out. I said I'm out. But he's like, "You crazy? This is a bad decision." I said, "Trust me, we'll figure this out," and we did. And I think I've been very fortunate to have married well. Someone that truly believes in me, believes in my potential, believes in my dreams, has my back. And I call it about running offense and defense. Yeah, so I can run offense, bring the business in. Bernie was a weapon at kind of putting deals together. And when she left her job, because she did leave her job to join the business, she had an incredible job at Cricket New South Wales. That was one of her, it was pretty much a dream job. But she believed in what I was trying to do here. And mate, I worked hard. If not for Bernie, there'd be nights at this office nearby where 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night, she'd come and bring dinner. Because there was no Uber Eats then. I was like, well, I'm just not going to eat. She'd come and bring dinner. Hey, stop working for a little bit. And she'd never kind of say, look, you should get home. It was like, just keep working. Midnight would roll around. She'd get up in the morning. Hey, mate, get up. Put your big boy pants on. Go again. So while she had my back, she was also like that hard ass to go, if I had a setback, who cares? Get on with it. get over it, move on. So she didn't dwell on any of those losses very quickly. And I was very fortunate, I think, to have someone like that in my life. She wouldn't give me sympathy. She'd give me some empathy, but just go, keep going. And, that's when Damien, her brother, joined us probably 6 months later. Bloke could never use a laptop. Bloke could never use Excel or email, And I look at him now and he's a weapon. And I take a lot out of that going, but that's what I've been able to do. I've been able to blaze a path where others have come on the journey. They've believed in me. I've got to repay that faith in them as well to go, I need to show up and still keep crushing it. To your point on how do we switch off, Bernie's pretty good at just going, mate, after hours, I don't care. She's a lot better. She's a lot better at that. There's no doubt sometimes we'll butt heads. I can't sugarcoat it. There are times where butt heads. There's times where financially it hasn't been great. There's times where we've had team leave. There's times where we've had deals go up in flames. There's times where we haven't gone on those holidays. We haven't gone on holidays for years when we started the business, for example. There's times where we invested heavily into the business to the detriment of ourselves, for example, wrong priorities. I really feel that when we had our daughters, and particularly when Sienna started school and Bernie wanted to be a present mum, I think at that point I said, you've given me so much and this is what you want, I'll give you whatever you want. At that point I said, I'll give you whatever you want. And I guess we fell into a traditional mum and dad relationship. Bernie could drop the girls off, spend some time, pick them up, take them to the extracurricular. I'd be around where I could, but dad goes off to work. I said, this is a season that we're in. And I'm very fortunate, like even today, Bernie comes in, gives us a hand where we need to, for example. I have no doubt if she was continuing to be a broker, she would wipe the floor with me.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, she would wipe the floor with me. She'd be top 10 without a doubt.
Easily.
She's probably one of the best brokers that we don't have in this industry. And that's what I think, females in broking, I've seen it firsthand.
Yeah.
So when the industry talk about it, why don't we have more brokers? I can tell you why. Because the demands on a modern mother, for example, where they're torn between being present for their kids, being a present wife, being fit and healthy, and then trying to manage the demands of clients in a broking role, you can't do that. Yeah.
I had Dana on the other day, one of the best brokers in the country, but she said something really interesting around, there's only 28, 30% of female women brokers in the industry. But she said the actual problem is the number of brokers staying in the industry is lower. So people come into the industry, they do well, but then they have to leave.
Yeah, right.
So people talk about freedom time-wise in broking to be able to choose your hours. Wow. Like that only exists if you've got a great team, great process around you. For most brokers, that's not a thing. Like I didn't take a holiday for years, and when I did, it was an absolute nightmare. I remember being.
It's not a holiday. All you've done is move. All you've done is take your laptop with you
to a different country,
to a new location. I say this all the time when I see brokers on LinkedIn posting photos, where they are. Like, dude, why is the laptop coming with you?
Yeah.
If it's a holiday, it's a holiday.
Yeah.
And I'm probably much more fortunate now where my team give me that respect to go, no, mate, you've earned it. Leave the laptop behind, for example, leave the phone behind. We've got this. That has taken so much effort to get it to that point. I can understand why.
My first actual holiday was 4 years ago when I diverted my phone and my emails to my team.
Yeah.
And then I came back and we still had done fairly well for the month.
Yeah.
And for the first couple of days, I kept messaging them saying, hey guys, is everything okay? And they're like, mate, just turn your phone off. Yeah. And I was having mild anxiety about it because, I thought maybe there was a bit of a inflated self-worth, but, the business would completely crumble if I wasn't there. And it was almost that forced, forcing you to let go a little bit and trust the team more.
Correct.
And then I got back and realized what a break was. But yeah, having a team around me has always been my number one priority. Can you explain what your team looks like?
Yeah, sure.
And also just one further question. At what point are you implementing loan processing, credit, as you grow? Because that's a question I get all the time from brokers. Hey, I'm doing X amount of deals. Should I hire someone? Or, should I outsource my credit? It's an interesting question.
My answer to that is if you ask that question, the answer is yes.
Yep.
The second that you're asking someone, should I be hiring? You're already too late. It's you should have hired 3 months ago. Because the way I explain hiring is I put a job out. I've hired a lot in the last 12 months. put a job ad out. Then you got to wait probably 3 or 4 weeks to get all the candidates back. Then you got a week of screening, for example. Then you got to organize face-to-face interviews or Zoom. Then you got to go through your reference checking, negotiations, or that might take another week or two. Then they've got to generally give 4 weeks notice. Then you got to onboard them and get them set up. I said you're probably at 12 weeks into the process. And then you got to give them another 3 months before they actually deliver you any value into your business. So taking 12 weeks plus another choice, 24 weeks, half a year on one candidate.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's why I say to anyone, you take 3 to 6 months of cash and you just burn it for a brand new team member. That's what's involved. And that's probably why a lot of people don't do it, because of that cash outlay, time outlay to recruit, onboard, get up to speed. But it's crucial you do it, because you're getting time back in your day. So if anyone's thinking about it, do it. But the hard part is it's hard, because people will tell you everything they want to hear in interviews.
Yeah.
Then the negotiation part.
I've had great interviewers that have turned out absolutely shit, and I've had really average interviewers who have turned out incredible.
Yep.
Attitude, I feel, is
everything. Yep.
Actually, CV, obviously, look, if they've got experience and whatnot, that's great. But
they lie on the CV.
Often if their CV looks unbelievable, why are you looking for a job?
Well, the best people aren't looking for a job.
Exactly.
And
so
that's our
attitude is everything in terms of
and even
hiring.
even within the industry, like we've created roles that didn't exist.
Yeah.
So for me to hire my assistant, how many EAs are there in mortgage broker land? Very few.
Yep.
So I can't fish in that pond. Yeah, I don't want to take a competitor's EA. That means I go out to market. My assistant was never an EA. I had to help her become an EA. Yeah. She had a good attitude. She had a great approach. I was like, I can work with you if you trust me. And mate, time to time, butt heads is learning, for example. But mate, just trust me. We will get there. I believe in you. Yeah. And then so the team, again, all our team bar one is out of industry.
Interesting.
Bar one. And she says she didn't really know that much. She knew how to do apply online. That was it. And within 3 months, we'd taken to another level. Yeah. So as it stands now, I've got myself as a broker. Siobhan is my EA. Then I've got 2 loan strategists.
What does a strategist do? Because obviously I understand what a strategist does, but for a broker who's listening, what are each of those roles actually doing?
They're a broker. They're a broker, but not a broker, if that makes sense. Yeah. So they've got the ability to be a mortgage broker. We just haven't cut them loose yet because I'm like, you've got to be in that seat for a bit longer and learn how to structure some really complex deals. But now what happens is they're at that level where now they get assistance. Yeah. So I generally call them loan strategists at that point. Underneath them is what I call a credit analyst, and underneath them is what I call a para broker. Yep. Now, interchangeable terms for people. What happens is you come into our team. If you don't know much, you step into para broking. Yep. So at that point, you're very much doing valuations, doing pricing. You can't really mess that up too much. Yeah. Follow up with a bank, for example. Just learn the ins and outs of what we're trying to do here. Sit in some client calls, take some notes, send out the fact find, do that for us.
Yep.
Then the next stage of becoming credit analyst is where you can jump into, say, quickly. Okay, you can look at income. You can, put the inputs in, run vals, see how much equity they've got, do a little bit of servicing, but something's going to trip you up. You don't know self-employed, you don't know SMSF, you don't know commercial, you don't know how the banks assess these type of loans, for example. So you don't have that depth and breadth of product knowledge or credit knowledge, but you've got potential. And so they're shadowing my strategist to go, okay, but why are we going to these banks? Why we're structuring that loan? Why are we not going here? Here's why we're going to these lenders for trust lending. These want to get to 6 investment properties. Bang, how do we do it? And so they're learning, they're sponges. And yes, we do have a team that are based in the Philippines as well. And then we've got 2 in post-settlement. Yeah.
Post-settlement's an interesting one, especially for your professional investor niche, because the amount of work you'd be doing on, I would imagine, ordering vals.
Oh, mate, it's nuts.
Doing
every 90 days.
Yeah.
Every 90 days, let's reval. Like, all right, guys, take it easy.
Because again, like post-settlement wasn't a thing when we started.
You know what?
Come and talk to me in a year's time when
we have done post-settlement for years. And I say this in jest. If they gave out an award for best post-settlement, you suddenly realize everyone put a post-settlement person on.
Yeah.
We were doing it when I remember we had 3 team members in the Philippines. This is going back probably about 5. That's over 5 years ago. I've been doing it. Yeah. Again, who could you recruit? Because no one knew the process. When you asked BDMs, what's the process? They wouldn't even know. Yeah. So I'm like, we're breaking ground here that BDMs don't even know the process around post-settlement. So no one's asking them the question. Fixed interest only roll-offs, for example, that we knew the banks would be at 90 days. We're at 100 days contacting our clients, for example. And that has become so regular. Now clients have come to expect it. And like we've created a rod for our own back sometimes, by being proactive. But that's the bar that we're trying to set here in our business. And we'll track each year how much interest we're saving our clients. That goes into the millions of dollars. We have put millions of dollars into our clients' back pockets that would have been in a bank's bottom line. That's something that I get proud of as a team. And I'm like, I tell that to clients like, oh, I haven't heard other brokers say this. I'm like, yeah, that is the difference. We're not just here to play offense, we're here to play defense. And even we had one of our other lenders, they came out and met our team and like, we're looking at your loan book and it's like, these loans are staying with you guys for a long time. I'm like, yeah, why wouldn't they? I'm not going to just suddenly churn. They're like, oh mate, all these other loans are being churned across with other brokers. I don't want to create that business. Very little will be internally refinanced. Very little of our book is actually internal refis or refis in general. Go to your bank, do the retention pricing, threaten to leave, go to the last line of defense. Because they're so set up with that bank. It's like it just reeks of commission breath if we're chopping and changing. And then we get used to the clients. We condition them to go every 2 years, go chop and change. Mate, there's no loan book growth. And that's something that we've measured very clearly, which is what is our true loan book growth? If we're replacing loans that are just simply running off, you hit a plateau. Versus I actually look at our true loan book growth and go, how much new blood are we adding in and how do we stop any runoff as well? And I take it to heart. I take it very personally. Runoff to me, sure, they've sold. Awesome.
What's your runoff?
Very low. We got, Connective told us less than 8% runoff, 5% runoff. Yeah.
And it should be in single digits. That's what I always say. Like anything, if it's double digits, you're doing something wrong.
5%.
And that's obviously subtracting refis and things internally.
Yeah, correct. Like we'll do top up, whatever it is. Okay, we're going vals to top up. So investors are tapping equity. But yeah, mate, I don't feel the need to churn loans. To me, post settlement is a crucial role. In fact, we're recruiting someone now to be on the phones full time post settlement. That's how serious we take it. We're literally putting onshore. Onshore. 100%. Any client facing role, any client communication is onshore. We're not mucking around. I got no offense.
Even email?
Even email.
Okay.
No one offshore is sending out emails to clients.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I'll hear that from other clients, clients of other brokers. Like they just kept asking for the same documents. They kept asking. I'm like, I've got a feeling what's involved here. Yeah. When you're face to face with a client, for example, when you're on the phone to them and they're going, well, why do you keep asking for this? That would hurt our souls. And that's why I tell the team, I'm like, we don't do that here. So check the emails before they go out.
Check the docs.
You don't want to get on the phone and then tell you a new one, for example. That's not fun.
And
once the team have that happen to a couple of times, then they get learnt from burnt experiences and they'll quickly just sharpen up and be very, very on point with the communication.
So you got this successful business. You've also got the mentor. You still doing that?
No.
We should have asked you that before we got
No, it's cool, mate. Look, you and I are probably the same way. Anyone asks us for a coffee, catch up, probably our time's limited, much more limited.
But it's hard.
I've opened our doors to brokers when I've done like Annie Kane or any of the podcasts I've done. Like, mate, our doors are open. They want to come in. They want to spend some time. Do you mean brokers actually did that? 3. 3 out of, I don't know how many brokers would listen to that. It's crazy. And I said to them, the fact that you're here
says a lot.
And they came from interstate, all 3 of them.
Did they really?
2 from Queensland, 1 from Melbourne. And they came with gifts. And the team were like, whoa.
From our FBAA tour, there were 4 or 5 people who stood out. And those 4 or 5 people since meeting them have just absolutely killed it.
Correct.
And I could have told you the questions they were asking from the follow-up after the event, the genuine follow-up. I very rarely am I wrong in terms of meeting someone and saying, look, that guy's got it or that girl's got it. It's interesting, isn't it?
Mate, I'm not saying I've got the blueprint or I've got all the answers.
You're also going to have about 400 people reaching out to you after the podcast, wanting to come and
I think that's what we spoke about. It's like
group.
We spoke about, and Bernie said, if it gets to the point we're getting inundated, we'll just do a group day.
100%. Yeah.
Come down. This is the one day that we've got it.
How good would that be? Like PD days, no offense to like okay occasionally, but
Mate, it's the same thing.
You walk in there, you got 20 sponsors talking about God knows what, and then you leave, you're motivated for a day, and then you go back to doing exactly the same thing you were doing before you went.
Mate, here's the trick with PD days, and I'm very fortunate. I'll give credit to one of the guys, Adam Bradley, up in Brizzy.
Yep.
We did the FBAA day. I was catching up with him for dinner. Between our session ending and catching up for dinner, he said he went back to the office and worked like a madman for 2 hours, implementing as much as he possibly could. You look where his results are today. Yeah. The same thing that gets said for the other brokers that came in. They came speed to implement. And so the trick after PD days is I never went home. I'd go to a cafe, bar, whatever was open, and I would sit there. Okay, they talked about this tech tool. They talked about this template. They talked about how they do here. And I would just go, how are we going to implement everything I possibly learned in that PD day? And you need almost that little circuit breaker between from a PD day, whether it's the next day, I would do it that night and strike while the iron's hot and execute and implement. And the more that time goes, you've just dropped it off its priority list and it's just another PD that you went to. I mean, how many times are they talking about online and marketing? Amount of PD days that are spoken about and people aren't doing it. Well, the message isn't sinking in. They're not actioning it. So it's like you're just going there and tick a box.
There's power in doing as well. I remember that story. It's probably not the best person to reference, but Will Smith was doing an interview years ago, asking something similar around, an actor wanting to understand how they can be successful. And he said, I could tell you exactly how to do it, but the amount of people that will go and do what I tell them is almost zero. So that's why I'm an open book. Anyone wants me a question, what's your tech stack? How do you get business? What are you doing? I'm not hiding anything. I tell everyone everything. I'm very public about it. But as you said, the amount of people that actually implement that is almost zero. And the ones that do benefit from it.
Right. We're not saying we know everything, but I think the point for you and I is we're still learning.
Definitely.
I will still read. I will get my team to read the books that I'm reading, for example, so we can talk about that together. I will still watch podcasts. And if I get something out of that, I'll share it with our team. And I think that's where that power of compound knowledge is like you talk about it, you teach someone. I learn more by teaching. That's what I tell the team. Like, I'm getting something out of this because I'm teaching you guys about this and it's solidifying my knowledge and going to pass that baton on to the next person as well. That's what happens with team. It's compound effect with team where I've trained them and then I can see them train the next person. My eyes light up. And I'm like, some of our newbies are now training our newbies.
Yeah.
I'm like, see how much you guys have learned in the last 3 months. And then you're passing the knowledge on to someone that's brand new to our team as well. I think that's where when people don't accept that broking is a team sport and they think it's a solo sport and they can make more money, I'm like, that's all the results you'll get.
You're not building a business, you're building a loan book. And what I always say to someone, there's a power in being part of a team, like that multi-mentor approach where you're not perfect, I'm not perfect, but together it's pretty close. And same for Reedham and I, like when a new industry broker comes into our business, look, what I do, marketing, branding, positioning, PR, what Reedham does in terms of video content, and credit with Curtis and Ben with B2B partnerships. If you're getting a little bit of everyone's best skill set, best knowledge, and best mentorship, you cannot not be a better version of yourself. And there's no and that's why I think mentorship's also a little bit broken, where like one person can't teach you everything, or they're going to teach you the wrong things.
Yeah, you'd be an 8 out of 10 here, but you're a 3 out of 10 here, or you're 5 out of 10 here. Versus go to that person, they're an 8 or 9. Go to that person, they're an 8 or 9 in that part as well. And I think we can. The amount of times I say I'll tell anyone, I'll give you everything. I'll give you all our templates. I'll give you all our tech stack. I'll give you everything. Yeah, give you the recipe, but the essence, and you can try and take our team. That's not the secret weapon here, mate. The essence is in the speed to implement, and actually, there's conviction in that as well. Yeah, you've got to want it bad enough. So having the best CRM is not the answer. Having the best phone script is never the answer. Having the best flow chart on a process is never the answer. Just pick up the phone, make it ring, get face-to-face with clients, do the simple stuff, get back to people. I'm amazed at that. It's the simple stuff done consistently, day after day after month after month. That's how this game is won and lost.
The non-sexy stuff.
It is.
Done well.
Yeah.
So business, not mentoring anymore outside of your business. Author.
Yeah. We've got a copy of the book.
Plug your book.
You said you wanted to. Here we go.
The Happy Home Loan Handbook. Is it like, this is, I guess, a physical version of my first home buyer group in terms of,
mate, that's exactly it.
All the knowledge, all the questions, the common objections put down in format that's easy to understand.
Yep. Because I can't work. Here's the thing. I can't work one-on-one with first-time buyers, just like you can't. That's why you created a group.
Yep.
Yeah? We've probably got to the point now I can't work because my energy is very different. We're worried about genuine savings. Mate, just go and buy the property. And that's not a message they want to hear.
Yeah.
Just go and buy as much as you can, where you can, when you can, how you can. Just get in there because, mate, all I noticed being in this game is every time I spoke to someone they bought 10 years ago, the properties shot up in value and they wish they bought 2 of them.
Yeah.
First time buyer, mate, does it come with an offset account? Does worried about a fixed rate? I was like, dude, I can't actually do this. My frequency,
it's not
my
productive
energy.
for your time either, because if you're dealing with professional investors, they're the ball at a gate.
Make correct. They don't care about
structuring and debt and how do you borrow more, and they're not asking the questions that a first-time buyer is going to be asking.
And that's where I had to kind of meet them and go, right, I've had all these years of experience. How do I condense that down? Because first-time buyers are hungry for information. They'll sit on the phone for an hour and just ask you all these questions, right? Yep. My thing is, but you actually absorb more by reading or watching. And so some people like the watch concept, some people like the listen concept, and some people like the read concept. I'm like, here's my gift. And so anyone that comes in, a new inquiry, for example, I'm like, here, they'll work with Damien in our business, for example.
Yep.
But here's everything you need to know about being a first-home buyer.
There's also a power in saying, hey, I'm not the right person for this, but Damien, our first-home buyer specialist, take care of you.
Okay.
What was powerful for me was realizing that no one actually wants to talk to me. They want to talk to me because I've positioned it like that. If you say, hey, I'm not the best person to talk to, Mia, who's the high net worth specialist, you're invisible. Like they don't, or the SMSF specialist or the commercial specialist. That's about the power of having a team around you that can look after those niche clients. If you have a huge portion of your market is a specific type of client, then they only want to talk to who's the best option for them.
Okay.
And you can still be across that and be able to write, an enormous amount of business, but work within a team to deliver that. Yeah. And that's where I was terrified. I remember when I had my first finance broker, CX, para broker, whatever you want to call them, and you're thinking, God, it's not going to be a positive experience because they're not talking to me. Yeah. And then I realized you need to have a bit more trust in the team. And then you realize that there was no problems and no one actually wants to talk to you. And
mate, isn't it a bit of a? It's a double-edged sword. I remember Damien landed a bigger deal than me. And on one hand, you're like, dude, incredible. And then the second part, you go, oh, so I'm not that great. So I think it's a really healthy leveler. It keeps the ego in check to go, I'm okay. Yeah. I'm not the best. And if I can pass the baton on someone else.
That's the biggest compliment, that someone you've mentored and trained and developed performs better than you.
And then
you actually don't want to be the best performer. You want to be able to grow the business and have other people outshine you.
But that comes down to mindset, the very start that we spoke about, which is having an abundance mindset.
Yep.
And what I see these days, Christian, is as it's now become broker v broker, particularly on LinkedIn. That's probably why I don't post much on anymore, because I'm like, all I see is brokers putting down other brokers.
I can't stand that. It makes no sense to me.
Instead of building your castle, let's say build your tower the highest, instead of doing that, they're knocking down everyone else's. And our tower's high, right? In terms of like, okay, we've got a business to where we want it to be, where we like it to be. Yeah, we can still do more. But I say to the team, don't tear down someone else. Now, where I get on my podcast and I talk about maybe you've outgrown your other broker is technically, you have dreams and aspirations.
Performance,
that exceeds them. You're not hearing back from them. Okay, cool. But you don't have to publicly vilify. I think that's probably where they're going, pick me. So in a sea of the same and generic, they're just going, pick me because they're bad. It's going, pick me because I'm really good at what I do and I serve this niche.
Yeah.
And I'm not here to even change I don't care. Fight between yourselves on LinkedIn. I don't give a shit. But in terms of energy, I think it's really bad juju. I think it's really bad energy to put out there, for example.
Well, the lowest type of marketing is is putting someone else down.
Yeah.
Or another business down. That's not a value add. That's not showing an audience that you're the right fit.
Mate, solve problems. And we talk about this in our business. That's probably one of our big overarching themes, is becoming a mortgage problem solver. Solve more problems. You'll attract more business, for example. And then you solve that level of problem. You can solve bigger problems at that point as well. And that's a real mindset shift, I think, for some people going to become a mortgage broker. They see problems and they get so dialed into the problem. Like zoom out, solve the problem, make someone's life easier. And like we said before, that like Matty Pongrass and you just become this attraction business. You become this attraction broker. People seek you out because they're like, man, this person's the path of least resistance.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's kind of my observation at the moment as we've moved to market share at say close to 80% or whatever it is. And now we're broker v broker. We've kind of seen the gloves come off, whereas before we're a lot more us
Broker
versus them. Us
yeah.
versus bank. And now it's us v us.
Yeah.
And you can feel that shift. And you and I can probably see it and feel that shift at PD days where it's like, oh, you're doing all right. I'm like, dude, I'm 10 years in. We can't even compare ourselves. Like, that'd be me comparing myself to Jeremy Fisher, who's another decade on me. And I love the bloke. You know, I see great things that they're doing as well. I'm not here to try and go toe to toe with him because if I think I'm black belt, he's bloody. Yeah, mate. Yeah. Great.
What do you do outside of work? Like, you know, we talk a lot about work and mindset and you know, building a successful broking business and mentorship and an author. What's ACD doing when he's not working?
I'm doing a lot. You know, 2 small girls. Mate, I love it. I think fatherhood's been, you know, a wonderful gift that's come to me at the right time in our lives as well. This allowed me to set the business, then give us a point where we can enjoy our life. I'm not a lifestyle guy, so I'm high performance is kind of my thing. So I try to be in the gym early. I'll train. I'll do all sorts of things: Pilates, the Muay Thai, GX, weights. I've travel is another big thing that's close to our heart. So we're taking the kids to Hong Kong, Disneyland, or we'll go on a holiday and we like to, get on a plane and take the girls somewhere new and cultural as well. I think I've probably got less time these days, but I do love to cook. That's probably one of my outlets as well.
Yep. Your brother's a phenomenal cook as well.
He's a restaurateur. He's not a cook.
Oh, he's not.
He's got a vision and ideas around restaurants and what that can do for people's lives.
Yeah.
He can't, and he'll be very open. He's not colouring a gift. It's like me in broking.
I'm about to say he's his version of you, but hospitality.
Oh, he's blown up in hospitality, and that's what I get very proud of. Family is probably another big part. Where I've got 2 brothers and they're doing some amazing things. We're very tight with our extended families as well. I do like to enjoy life. I've got probably what I say these days is I've got a really good inner sanctum of friends, and we were at dinner with Emil Juresi at his beautiful house. And I think that question when he said, have you got someone that if you had a body to dig at 2 a.m, who could you call?
Who would you help?
Who would help you?
Yeah.
And I realized at that point, man, I'm pretty blessed that I've got this amazing inner sanctum that I've got probably about 10 guys that I could call right now and say, mate, I've got a body to bury. They would not ask any questions. They'd ask, how big's the shovel need to be? Or where do I need to meet you? Do you know what I mean? And I think it's really dawned on me how truly blessed I am.
As schoolmates?
Schoolmates, uni mates, cricket mates, old work friends, for example, my 2 brothers, brother-in-law. Like you look at the circle of mates that I have, and I think it's really important. I'm speaking masculine energy here. I think it's really important to have that mateship. I don't drink a lot. I think you've been on a health kick as well. I'm not here to sink beers, but mate, when we get together, we're not just surface level chats, mate. We're going deep. And everything about the identities, being a dad, being a present and active husband, for example, because that takes work. Marriage takes work, health takes work, on yourself takes work, and I do a lot of work on myself, man. Like the amount of, I look now, I don't yearn for anything material, mate. All I do is upgrade my ice bath or upgrade, the sleep pod or whatever it is. Yeah. I spend a lot more on like the health and well-being component because
it's an age thing as well. Like obviously, you're a bit older, you got your kids, that managing the 3 pillars of mind, body and soul become a lot more important to not only perform at your best, but also to be the best dad you can be, the best partner you can be.
Spot on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the stakes get a lot higher as you probably get older. I'm 43.
Are you really?
Yeah.
I'm only 38.
This industry ages you. Yeah. We both had a lot of hair before we started. But here's the thing, mate, like, I probably feel fitter and stronger at 43 than sometimes I do at 23. Yep. Yeah, I'm gemming more in my day. I've got much higher stresses that I'm dealing with now than I did 20 years ago. I'm like, isn't that a testament? That's what I say to my mates. I'm like, isn't that a testament that we can be fitter, stronger, better more dialed in at where we are at 43 than we were at 23.
Mm.
And then I'm like, and then one of the guys said, man, I feel a bit old. I was like, be very careful how you speak to yourself that way.
Mm.
I said, I can't be around that. Don't tell yourself you're old, because we could do anything. You know, I look at my vision board for the year. I'm like, I'm so visually dialed in about what I would like to achieve that when you get to the end of the year, success is no accident. You know, so what do I also do? I've got a life coach. You know, I've got a life executive coach.
Yep.
Yeah. Do the
What
meditations.
do they do? Yeah.
Blind spots is the big one for me. So I'll come in and I'm like, this is what's going on. I'm so busy. And she's like, all right, cool. Tell me more about that. And so, okay, so how's that impacting this, you know, home life, or how are you showing up for your team, or why are you putting yourself last, for example? And so someone that can call out my blind spots to go, hey man, there's some collateral damage that may be happening here. I haven't trained for a week. Well, you're saying health is a priority, but your actions are saying something else. Yeah, I know. All right. So what are we going to do about it? And I think I look at where we need to be, particularly when you're leading people and running a business. You've got to show up. Their team are looking to me to make sure that mentally I'm sharp.
Yep.
I say language is very important. You know, we don't criticize clients. We don't criticize BDMs. We don't criticize banks. We don't criticize other brokers. Yeah, we're not perfect. And sometimes you need an outlet, but you can do that without judgment. And I think that to me is that when I speak to the team about the power of our language, you know, I say to any of our newbies, the second you say you're confused, I'll show you the door.
Yep.
Yeah, it's helpless language. And I think sometimes we accept that from other people. I would never talk to myself that way. I don't want others people talking to themselves that way or to the team. I get very protective of what we're building as well. Even my kids, I'm like, when they say something, I'm like, hey, is that is that the right thing? I don't like that person. That's not what we say.
Yep.
You just don't get along with them. That's okay. Yeah. And so I'm very big into that space as well. And it takes a lot of work, man. It takes a lot of deep personal work.
Emotional intelligence is something that I appreciate more and more as I get older.
Yeah.
That calmness, or the ability to digest things and come back better. It's an interesting one because it's something you never think about when you're younger. But
we probably look at that as
powerful.
Like health. And you spoke about the 3 pillars, man. I call it having a 6-pack for the mind, body, and soul.
Mm.
Yeah. When you hang around negative people, man, that's an energy I just can't be around.
The worst. Yeah.
You know, that's why I probably hear brokers complain about clawbacks. I'm like, dude, what are you gonna do about it?
Yeah.
Net of offset, what are you gonna do about it?
Everyone's got clawbacks.
Mate, we'll have it. Our business isn't perfect, and you can't help that.
Yep.
It's out of our control. So then you go back to, okay, so what can I control? All right, have a conversation around that. Explain to a client, this is how we get paid. And sometimes they go, that's not fair. I'm like, that's cool, it's not fair, but that's just how this thing works. Yeah. So I think the ability to reframe, situations, reframe language, for example. And Bernie and I get really dialed in. I think the other part for us is we carve out time for ourselves. It's really important as a couple. You can really lose yourself in that drift when you become a parent. And you get there. It's such a wonderful gift, but you can literally just start to then just go through the motions as a couple.
Yep.
And so, we'll make time for us to, whether it's a quarterly getaway or, our nanny comes around once a week and we go to dinner. We've had to deliberately make time for us that we're not talking work, or sometimes not talking kids, and sometimes just to dream and just talk dreams for a little bit. That's a gift in itself, right? And again, I come back to the very thing. That's what this country can do. Like I keep coming back to how blessed we are to live in this country, man, where I can chase my dreams and aspirations. My background is Sri Lankan. I would never have this life in Sri Lanka.
Yep.
And I think it's that migrant mentality to go, if I can come in and within 10 years of running this business, I can change my family's bloodline and then I can go and buy properties. That's insane. I tell that to our team. I'm like, if you're not taking this opportunity and grab it with both hands, what a waste.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's every time I journal on this, I'm like, should I just be stopping and chilling out and kind of, not growing the business as much? But I'm like, why wouldn't I stop and live life my full potential, man?
You mentioned your vision board.
Yeah.
What's on the vision board for next year?
There's a holiday, so I put my holidays at the start, so where we would like to go,
Yep.
for example. So, taking the kids on a cruise, we're doing that. Fiji with the kids. What else we'll do? I'd love to go to Portugal with Bernadette, so we're doing that. And then there's things that I'd like to do property-wise. We're looking at doing a renovation on our home, for example. So that's a big project. So I've got the floor plans on there. I've got my financial goals, what I'd like to, one, achieve, invest, purchase, for example.
Yep.
I've got my health goals in there as well. So it might be a training camp in Thailand is what I'm thinking next year, go back and do that. What else have we got? Professional goals in terms of where I'd like to be with the business, what I'd like to achieve personally. And then I've got a few mantras on there as well, like pressure is a privilege is one of them, for example.
Love that.
80-20 rule is on there, for example. My coaches, their business names on there as well. So I know that's a priority for me. Some of the books that I want to read, for example, they're on there as well. So I'm looking at the year going, well, that's where my energy and efforts are going to be. In kind of if I'm filling the calendar up with what I'd like to do, that goes in there. And I think probably and you and I probably get guilty of it. It's you saying yes to something and saying no to something else. And I'm like, well, I've only got 365 days in the year, for example. What do I want to achieve? And not trying to be too ambitious with that time frame as well. Yep. What's practical without selling myself short, but also getting absolute clarity as to what's the most important things for me, what moves the needle, and what I'm going to enjoy as well. And there's a lot of self-discovery. What do I actually enjoy?
Yep.
And then Bernie does hers, and we kind of get some alignment going, okay, you want to do that, I want to do this.
Yep.
Bit of compromise here and there. And yeah, man, it goes on the bathroom walls at home, so the kids see it, we see it.
Yep.
It goes on my desk in the office. It comes with me everywhere. I've got my little paper stack that comes with me to the office. That goes with me every single day. I see it. Wallpaper on the phone. Everywhere I go, I just see it.
I just realized we've been talking for well over an hour. I haven't asked any of the questions that I had planned, but as always, it's so easy to talk to you.
You too, mate.
And mate, you're one of the most genuine people I know. And what I get the most out of our conversations is that emotional intelligence. And look, you're not perfect. I'm not perfect,
mate.
but you've gone through that transition of having kids and where I'm going to be hopefully heading soon. It's just really interesting how watching that journey from new to industry broker and growing a successful business and getting launching a book and being a present dad. And it's just, mate, I'm really proud of you, and I appreciate the time to come in and talk with me.
I appreciate it too, mate.
Thank you for the chat.
Not at all, mate. Thank you. Time flies. I haven't even looked at the clock. But that's the beauty of this conversation. Something I genuinely hope that people listen to it. If they go away with something, it's just to tap into that inner potential. That's all I'd hope for someone listening off the back of this. This chat isn't about me. But there's so many good brokers that are doing some amazing things.
Yep.
Not even in brokerland. You could look at any other industry and go, right, there's captains of industry. But if you can just look inside yourself and go, you're capable of so much more, I'd say mission accomplished from this chat as well. I'm pretty sure that's probably why you're doing it, is to spread some knowledge, share best practice, but most importantly, like you can listen to it. But again, we go back to the PD analogy. It's what you do next that matters the most. And if you don't do something off the back of this, then I'd be asking questions. What'd you do at that hour at that time?
Yep.
Yeah.
Thanks for your time, man.
Mate, thanks very much. Part 2 coming soon.
I'll have to split that up into two podcasts. Thanks.
Awesome, mate. Thanks.